you've done so much. You know, you'll hear me come in and talk about all the accomplishments and things like that that you have. But you know, I so many times when I love it when publicists they'll send me these little talking points and things like
Yeah.
that. Which if you interview 10 people and everybody used the same talking points,
Yes.
it's like haven't I heard that before? So I always try to like sort of sit promptu and you know when we met coming in and everything, your
Sure.
personality is just exciting. And I thought about something. I'm an old Pentecostal girl,
Yeah.
and on Friday night we had something called testimony service. They
Oh
said
yeah.
just everybody just testify. I just want to take a minute. I
Yeah.
just say, Phil Cook, just take a moment. I just want you to testify about the
You're
goodness of the
fun.
Lord.
You're fun. It is fantastic, isn't it? You're right. I know. I completely understand that it's about relationships, and when you mix with people, and the chemistry matters. And so I'm feeling good right now. So that's a good thing. Yeah, I grew up I grew up a preacher's kid, Charlotte, North Carolina. My dad was a pastor. I've actually never known what it's like not to be in church. I was there every time the doors were open. And I grew up playing piano because that's what preacher's kids are supposed to do.
Exactly.
And I ended up going to college in Oklahoma, so I moved halfway across the country. And then once that was done, I kept moving, and we ended up in Los Angeles, where instead of being a preacher, I decided to have a career behind the camera and tell the story that way. So it's been an interesting. It's been an interesting run, actually.
Isn't it amazing, like you're saying, it's going from one part to the other? And, you know, so many people watching, that's one of the things that we like to share is sometimes in ministry we can be almost typecast. Can I say
Yes,
that? You
that's
know,
right.
if you're in ministry, this is what you do. And ministry is either ushering or preaching or singing.
right.
And if you're not doing those things, what are you doing?
That's right. Well, you're exactly right. And particularly today in the age of social media, if you're on Facebook, you're a minister because you have people following you that you can talk to, that you can share Christ with. And in fact, it's funny that Facebook now, by population, is the third largest country in the world. They have more than 1 billion members. So who's planting churches in that country? Who's sending missionaries to that country?
And do you know, that's why like at Body Bros Television Network, when we started working with this network, you know, back in 2000,
Sure.
we came up with the slogan, redefining Christian TV. Now this was even, you know, in 2000, internet was not something that, it was
That's
still
right.
in the heyday, you know, it was still in its infancy. And people were like, well, that's, you know, foolishness what you guys
Yeah.
are doing. When we started pulling back and saying, we want to go in the media aspect with internet television because, and we wanted to
Good
go
for
a
you.
format that's different because even in viewing, it's kind of like, who says that, you know, we just want to watch straight Christian television? So with our network, the internet has afforded us the opportunity that we have 20 channels that are focused. If you want music, there's a music channel.
fantastic.
If you want sports, there's a sports channel. If you
Yeah.
want women's ministry, there's channels that are dedicated and you can go in and
Amazing.
find it. And that's still ministering, but what you're talking is, we realized way back, and so there are pastors and people out there that don't even have a Facebook page,
Absolutely.
that don't even barely have a website. How can you reach this generation, Phil, if you're not tuned into that?
You're right. And there's so many choices people have today. They may never darken
Choices.
the door of your church.
That's it.
They may never darken the door of your church or read your book, but they'll have a Facebook page, or maybe they will read your book. You just never know. So my feeling is it's not how we want to share the gospel anymore. It's how they want to receive it. And we just have to be on the platforms. I mean, you study the life of Jesus. He went where the people were.
That's it.
Social gatherings like weddings or in the temple square or in the marketplace. Well, today, the people are online. They're watching television. They're listening to the radio. And we need to be in those places.
And they're watching in all different formats. So what is
They
Phil
are.
Cook doing to go in and to touch and evangelize and reach?
We do a number of different things. We have a company in Burbank called Cooke Pictures. I'm one of those weird cooks with an E on the end of my name. And we work with a lot of major ministries and nonprofit organizations, from the Salvation Army to Joel Osteen to Joyce Meyer to plenty of others. And we help them produce programming. We help them engage the culture more effectively. And we also are producing some of our own documentaries and commercials. We do a lot of promos and things like that. So my passion is how we as believers can influence today's culture more effectively. And I think we've got to change the way we do it. We've got to get on their wavelength. We've got to stop using the Christian lingo. And we've got to talk like the culture does. And I think if we could do that, we'll make a huge impact out there in the culture.
And like you're saying, we've got to speak the language. We've got to
Absolutely.
communicate the
Oh.
language. So talk about your book,
Yeah,
Unique.
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 Is it unique?
Well, it's unique is about how to tell your story in this incredibly cluttered culture we live in. You know, today, some experts say that we're being bombarded with as many as 5,000 media messages every single day, from bus stop ads to web banner ads, TV commercials, print ads. So in that world, how do you get noticed? How does your church get noticed? How does your nonprofit get noticed? How does your television or radio program get noticed? And so the book is really to help Christians get their message out there. If you have a passion and you feel like God's giving you an idea, this book will really help you figure out how to get it noticed, how to find donors for your church or nonprofit or ministry, how to find investors for your business idea, your movie, your book. And that's really what it's about, because I want people's influence to grow.
I noticed something that I was reading in your information is that it was saying that you mentioned it a little bit, and we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back, that you're talking about finding, especially for nonprofits and ministries and things, finding, I like the way it said, is finding outside influences to help without hurting your donors, without making them feel bad. We're going to take a break. And we're back. This is Brenda C. I'm here with Phil Cooke, and we've been talking about the changes, trends that are happening. You know, the scripture says this. Let's find a scripture to back this up. And it talks about the sons of Issachar.
Yes.
It said they discerned. These guys were media people.
They should have been if they weren't.
They discerned, they knew changes and trends and marketing. I don't know if you've read the book, Jump the Curve. God,
I have. It's a great book.
Gosh, I've got it. Actually, I'm doing a workshop off of it at our Pastors and Partners Conference in October. And I've been hawking them up. I paid, $15 for them. Then one day I found them at Dollar Tree. I've got to say that. Yes, I've been hawking them up for $1 everywhere for that workshop. But it's an awesome book, and we use that. And what it's Google to Google to Gutenberg to Google, and with those together, you look at those and see this by anything that we can find validation for in the Bible. And the Bible is the most contemporary modern book that there is. And the sons of Issachar, they discerned, they knew. And what we've got to do is have wisdom to understand the day of just flyers and just, all right, brother, go out and how do I tell my friends? Talk about that sharing in social media and branding. How can we utilize that to go out and spread the gospel?
Well, right now, I'll give you a good example. Right now, I have more than 20,000 Twitter followers, which I guess makes me the pastor of one of the largest churches in America.
Exactly.
And if you look at it that way, if you look at it that I can have influence with people who follow me on Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest or some of the other social media platforms, you could immediately start to speak into the lives of people. That's why I'm on social media. Stop talking about I'm having a latte at Starbucks or I'm having a ham sandwich at Denny's, and start focusing on how I can encourage people, how I can help people, how I can make a difference in their lives. Because if you can do that, suddenly you start having influence and you really start ministering to people, and it can make a huge, huge difference.
So, talk about the book. Where can we find it?
Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, wherever books are sold. It's out there, and I'd love for people to check it out. I have a blog at philcooke.com, Philcooke, and where we talk about these issues of faith and culture and media. And I'd love for people to come and talk, and we'll have a good time.
Listen, you need to get the book, and you need to go. What's your website?
Cookepictures.com is our company, and philcooke.com is my blog.
Fantastic. Listen, we've got more coming up. This is Brenda C. I'll be right back after this.